What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to some more Marvel Snap, and today I want to show you guys a Shanna deck that I built. I bought Shanna. I do not suggest paying 6,000 tokens for her, but she really intrigued me, so I wanted to go ahead and pay the cost to hopefully get you guys some content with her. The first deck that I built was kind of like a Khazar Zoo deck with Sandman. Main goal being kind of flood the board early with your ones, get Sandman out ASAP, and then you can use things like Shanna to continue to flood the board. Khazar, Blue Marble, and Onslaught probably doesn't fit, but sometimes it works out. Whoops. It's really a fairly straightforward deck. You have to kind of just play it pretending like Killmonger's not a real card. If Killmonger does come out, you kind of just lose. This is also a pretty solid deck if you ever got like Dazzler. I think that's the new card's name, where if all 3 locations are filled, she gets +6 power and she becomes like a 4/10. That might be a place for her in this kind of deck. And if you did get Dazzler, I'm pretty sure she's a 4 cost. You'd be slotting in another 4. And then there's probably a way to make that kind of like a hybrid like Zabu build. Sandman would then become a question at that point, but there's probably some ideas that you could do there. Other than that, this deck is all like pool 1, 2, and 3 cards, besides obviously Shanna. But I would suggest waiting for her to drop down a series. Maybe even 2. Like, once she gets down to pool 3, she'll be fun to mess around with. But I would not suggest spending 6,000 tokens on a card that instant loses to Killmonger. But I spent the tokens, so you don't have to. So let's go ahead and hop into some games and see how we can do. Alrighty, we've got our first matchup against Pickles. I like them all, but not yet. Okay, now we're getting closer. Also, under normal circumstances, I would never play 1-cost cards on Mojo World, because, again, Killmonger is a card. But they just helped us not have to worry about Killmonger being a card. I will be skipping a turn at some point to get rid of those rocks, but for now, we are going to fill that location up. I think. Yeah. Definitely don't want to miss a chance to play Ebony Maw. One thing you can consider, and is what I would have done if I had pulled Shanna, would be you can play just 3 cards out and leave a spot open with Ebony Maw, which is normally not something you want to do. However, when it comes to Ebony Maw, you can play cards to that location as long as you aren't the one doing it. So Shanna playing a card in each of the 3 locations, she can actually play to Ebony Maw's location. And our opponent is going to go ahead and forfeit. I didn't even have to play Sandman because they played their own Electro out. But let's go ahead and find another game, because that went pretty well. Okay, we've got another matchup against Sadaka. I think this is a pretty... We'll play Iceman there just so we don't like risk locations. One thing we're going to want to try and do, depending on how our hand turns out, is try and find a way to have Grand Central play Onslaught for free for us. I'll do that. That's pretty sweet. I think we're just gonna get Mojo out. Alright, let's definitely go for Khazar here. Alright, this looks like some sort of Wong-going type deck. which also kind of means I have to do this. This will fill up this location. I just don't know if Grand Central can pull Ebony Maw. I don't know if I've ever wound up in this situation where if Grand Central can pull cards that it normally cannot. But I'm gonna try it. Normally you would not play this Hawkeye, but I really want it out of my hand because if Grand Central pulls a Hawkeye, it feels really bad when these are the alternatives. Honestly, even if it pulls Maw, it's not ideal, but it's better. They probably have Killmonger, but we're gonna play it out. We're gonna destroy their destroyer.
I am Iron Man.
Now the obvious bad thing here is they're gonna steal our Titania. I wish Titania went here instead and we got Maw here. Now, honestly, I think we lose this lane anyway, although they lost Destroyer. What's left in their hand? They could play Spectrum here, which would give them 5, 8, 14. We'd obviously lose this. This one we're probably... I mean, they could play even Spectrum here, steal Titania, and we'd probably lose this lane as well. But then they'd lose that lane. I mean, I think we lose no matter what, but I did want to play it out just to see how the ending could go.
Escape.
You are left up to a lot of RNG, that there's no one best thing. Like, sometimes Ebony Maw is the best card to pull, sometimes it's the worst card to pull. And vice versa. Okay. We actually can play another card into this lane with Shanna. Let's just flood that. I feel decent at our ability to lock this up. If we can draw Khazar and like Blue Marvel and stuff. I'm gonna play Sandman because if they're a Bishop deck, we don't want them going wide, and you know, Shanna can help us flood a little bit as well. We're basically going to be punting on this lane, and they do have, unfortunately, the Killmonger. All hope is not lost, however. We're gonna go for the Shanna. They really wanted to play multiple cards if they're gonna Enchantress the Sandman. So this is about as bad as it can go with the Killmonger into Enchantress. If I was them, I probably would have held the Killmonger into the last turn, although Sandman might have screwed that up. But letting me know that like I need to play more here and that this isn't full actually worked to my advantage by giving me the knowledge, but like I said, there's still lots they can do here. And we will take the game. Shanna actually does it there. Fills our lane up for Mojo. Actually turns off their lizard as well. So this wound up being +6, 12, a 15-point swing from Shanna being played in this lane. One is back Sanctum, and then we were punting on Dark Dimension anyway. So that worked out pretty great. Also, I'm pretty sure Agent 13 pulled us in Agent 13, which is, I guess, unique. Let's go hop into another one. We've matched up with Will. Hello, Will. Cards that cost 1 can't be played here. So that's going to be our Khazar, Blue Marvel, Shanna lane, because the rest of our deck is all 1 costs. Ooh. I like Sunspot. And then we can go like Sunspot Maw next turn with Shanna. Because like, normally you're like, alright, don't overextend with Sunspot, but like, we're a deck that insta loses to Killmonger anyway for the most part, besides last game. So like, why not? We probably should have tried to leverage the Khazar a little bit more. Let's try and start leveraging the sunspots instead. Kind of want to go like Onslaught Mojo on turn 6 if possible, but I really need to mix in a Shanna at some point. So I think we just play this now. It's gonna be like a super beefy surfer deck. So get 2 cards out, fill this lane, fill that lane. And then we get 2 energy for... Then the question is, do we want to play the Mojo or just play Korg and try and get an extra stat onto Sunspot that way? I could go for Korg into Shanna. This would give me 4 over here, whereas Shayna's only going to give me 2, and I feel like I'm losing Cloning Vats no matter what. And then that will give me +3 on each Sunspot. Let's do that. I actually pulled another Sunspot here. I think we're gonna fall 1 short there. We needed 1 more energy. We were so close that game. We knew they weren't gonna trigger our Mojos, that's why I wasn't worried about really getting any of them out. But that was so close. That Sunspot almost did it for us. That pulled it there. If this Maw could have just went there. Obviously you can't control your Shanna placement, but if that would have just went there, that would have been real juicy. I do think the better option in general would have been to start stacking some Khazar onto Cloning Vats. I think that wound up being the difference, that they had basically triple Blue Marvel, and we only had double Khazar. So looking back, I definitely should have gone in that direction instead. But let's get on into another... Alrighty, we've got My Precious. This probably wound up being the last game, I think. We'll see how it goes. If it's like a complete punt, like worthless game, we'll get another one. Shanna can help us with Death's Domain. if we can get some cards out there. If they are themselves a Sunspot deck, I think the odds of them having Killmonger are pretty low, unless they want to try and hide their Sunspot behind a armor. But that's quite a bit of stacking just for one cost card. But there's other cards that you could hide behind your armor. So I don't think it really definitively says something one way or the other. No, 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 no. Part of me wants to play Sandman quite badly. Let's just go Khazar for now. What I really, really need is Shanna. Let's get Blue Marvel out. It's really our only play right now. We've got a 1 in 4 of Shanna here. That sucks. We do not pull the Shanna, but we pull Onslaught, which will give us up to 19 here, plus 3 would be 22, plus another 1 would be 23. So we would win this lane, besides if they let Sunspot get more energy. And then this lane would get plus 3, 4, 5 would be 21. I feel okay about that. Not great, but okay. We're gonna lose the Doom lane. I'm assuming that's Mjolnir.
Mjolnir, to me.
They're at 22. I think we're gonna fall 1 short. Yeah. That was pretty close, though. I mean, having that come down to leader pulling... Grand Central pulling leader, which got them a Blue Marvel, was like their path to victory. Not bad. Like, alternatively, I think we would have been in an incredible spot if Sandman got pulled instead of Iceman. So it was a really, really close fought battle that I think the final kind of momentum shifter was the Grand Central pulls for the both of us. Other than that, I think it was incredibly close. We missed on Shanna with turn 6, which probably in hindsight we don't win. Doombot has 6 power. Most 1-cost cards would have only gotten plus 2 from Blue Marvel and Khazar. So we probably would have been sitting at like 4 power here. And then I don't think we would have won either of the other 2 lanes. So even if we pulled Shanna, I don't think we were winning this game. I think it was really just that Grand Central stats that made the difference. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. It is a very fun deck to play, but like I said, do not spend your 6,000 tokens. We'll probably play some other Shanna decks. I wanted to go all in on the Zoo just because, like, I think she's usually paired with Khazar and kind of just fits naturally, but there's other ways to play her besides a full 1-cost deck. If I ever get Dazzler, we could definitely experiment with that as well. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you're new to the channel, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.